Hi there, I'm Lucy McDonald, physiotherapist. Welcome back to my virtual clinic. Today I'm going to be talking to you about shoulder impingement, and particularly shoulder impingement for healthcare workers. But before I do, please do make sure that you watch my video on when you need to get your shoulder pain checked out as a matter of urgency. So when do you need to see a doctor immediately about your shoulder pain? Do watch that first before you continue with this video. I'd like to say thank you very much to all those of you that have sent me so many lovely messages of support, and one of those very messages was from a friend of mine who has got a number of colleagues who have been complaining about shoulder pain. Now, they are healthcare workers, so they're often on their feet doing some physical stuff, and then when they're not doing physical stuff, they're writing their notes. And those are common things that can trigger shoulder impingement. So firstly, what is shoulder impingement? Now, shoulder impingement isn't as such a diagnosis, it's an umbrella term to describe a couple of different symptoms. So how do you know if you've got shoulder impingement? Well, there's two main things that I'd suggest you do. If when you take your arms out to the side and up above your head, you have got the full range of motion, but in that middle range you have pain, that's the first really important sign. It's what we call a painful arc. So if you've got that painful arc in that middle range, and also if you do a test where you take your arms out in front of you, imagine that you're hugging a giant bear, and then you put 2 pints of water in your hands and you pour that water on the floor. If when you turn your arms inwards, that's uncomfortable, that again can be a sign of shoulder impingement. As I say, it doesn't particularly tell you exactly what structures are damaged, but it's likely to be a combination of your rotator cuff tendons, the long head of your biceps tendon, bursa, and other structures in that area at the front of the shoulder. Having said that, you can also feel the pain, not just in that region, but also down into the top of the arm too. So what do you do about it? Now, the most important thing about shoulder impingement is that you treat it using exercises in the range of motion that you need your shoulder to work in. So for example, one of the most common things that I see is that people are given exercises doing this kind of thing, when actually their pain is felt doing more reaching things in this kind of range of motion. So the range of motion that you need to do your exercises in is the very range of motion that you're feeling your discomfort in. However, equally, there's absolutely no point of you just doing this again and again and again and irritating your pain and making it worse. So what you need to do is you need to break down that shoulder movement. And the way to do that is to think of your shoulder movement in 2 different sections. So you've got your shoulder blade stability. So you need to be doing exercises for shoulder blade stability. And the second one is your rotator cuff muscles. So the muscles that sit around the shoulder and keep it stable. So you need to be doing exercises for that. Now, I would suggest that to start with, you do those exercises lying down, and I'm going to put some links underneath this video of my favorite exercises. If you do them lying down or in a modified way, standing up against the wall, for example, it helps to isolate the 2 different components so that you can then put them together safely and get that movement right. So the next thing is to look at really how you're holding your shoulder position, and to make sure that you're keeping your shoulder stable, your shoulder blade stable, while you move your arm, so that whenever you move your arm, you're not combining your arm and shoulder blade movement together. So for example, when you're lifting or carrying or reaching at work, especially if you're doing something heavy, perhaps moving a patient or moving heavy equipment at work, then you really do need to train yourself to hold your shoulders in the correct position as you then move your arms. And the videos that I'm going to put at the bottom of this that are on the Octopus Clinic website will show you how to do that. So those are my 2 components, the shoulder blade and then the rotator cuff. But also it's super important that you train the whole of your body. So say, for example, you're getting your soreness again, say when you're reaching for a patient, then you need to be using the muscles of your glutes, so your bum muscles, your leg muscles, and your core muscles to do those movements as much as possible, so that then your arms and your shoulders don't take so much of the strain. So that was 4 tips actually, wasn't it? Number 1, make sure you train the muscles of your shoulder in the ranges of motion that you need your shoulder to work. Number 2, look at your shoulder blade stability. Number 3, look at your rotator cuff muscles. And number 4, train your whole body, and in particular your glutes muscles, and your core muscles. I hope that's been helpful. Please do let me know what you'd like me to do a video on next. Press that big red subscribe button and do share with your colleagues, particularly if they're healthcare professionals. I would love to help with any injuries or pain that you or they are experiencing. Until next time, bye!